So I wanted to kind of take the lens and pull back a little bit from where we've been talking about today. It's been very exciting visions about applications and uses and how it can change lives. I've been thinking deeply about a little bit different paradigm, which is really how do we start changing society? How do we scale this? So I love the applications. I live for the applications. That's my background. But how do we change society? So we all saw some power today that few people have seen, experienced, and have the opportunity to do something about it. So I want to pull back a little bit, and what I want to talk about today is a roadmap to a smart region. So you heard today about perhaps Cleveland having a competitive advantage, or this region having a competitive advantage to outperform other markets with this broadband, which is now the platform for new technologies. Actually, I'll get back to my net here. Oh, that's it. All right, so I guess what I'll start with is this roadmap to a smart region is really, it's about economics, and you heard Blair talk a little bit about the economics in broadband. Well, the most powerful force in economics I want to talk about today, it's called the X factor. So the X factor is actually about the most important piece of driving growth, any kind of economy. It's not about capital. I was surprised. It's not about capital inputs. It's not even about labor inputs. It is this X factor. The X Factor is not a reality show. It's a different kind of reality. In 1987, Dr. Solow came up with the Nobel Peace Prize for demonstrating that 80%, up to 80% of our GDP growth over the history of time came from the adoption of new technologies. So what does this mean? So we've got growth. We all want growth. We don't have enough growth here in this marketplace and certainly others in the United States. How do we get this new technology? How do we create an atmosphere of innovating more frequently, focusing more resources on innovation? So broadband, obviously, we've talked about being the key in these new technologies. That broadband's the platform for these new technologies. As an example, the biggest growing sector and now the largest sector in market cap over finance, over the other sectors, is actually information technology and telecommunications. Relatively new fields. Certainly fueled by high growth. You've certainly seen Apple and Google and the likes. So you've got this platform for innovation, but as was stated earlier, what are we going to do with it? It's there. Who's going to show up? How are we going to use it? Well, broadband, let's talk a little bit more specifically about broadband being the platform. Well, soon we're going to have smart devices. You certainly have some now, but soon your coffee maker will actually sense when you're waking up and it's going to start brewing. Pretty cool. Soon, when we've got in senior homes, when your loved ones, your grandparents perhaps, your parents, when they fall down and don't get up, that will be derived by sensors and there'll be alerts. So we've got a new world we need to start thinking about that's enabled by broadband. There's also, imagine the economic opportunities if you're the lead inventor of those, and fueled by efforts like US Ignite and others in this great broadband marketplace that we've got here in this marketplace. So let me catch up now. So the beauty of technology is really, and few people understand this, it's the ability to scale to huge audiences at almost no incremental cost. The best example is probably email. Whether you email one person or millions of people or 10 millions of people, that's really the power of technology. That's why it can be so transformative, especially when you think about it in social settings. So the way I describe it is it's kind of, we're trying to move towards value. So we've got data at the bottom there. We've got lots of data. People are capturing lots of data. They're maybe not sharing lots of data. But what we need to do is we need to connect people to broadband infrastructure. We need to connect the databases. We need to start sharing it, and we need to move up this value chain from data to information to knowledge to wisdom. That's how we start changing society, when we start being a smart community and start working together across our sectors, sharing the data, and actually making it actionable. And that's what makes us productive. And in turn, when we're more productive, we're able to shift more resources towards innovation. We're starting to see that here in the universities, which certainly have gotten increasingly interested in innovation themselves and commercialization and tech transfer. We've seen that in our healthcare systems. So a local example, I believe it was Blair mentioned big data earlier today. So big data is all this data that's hidden out there somewhere, and not everybody knows what to do with it. Well, to bring meaning to it, we need computing. So fortunately, there's huge computing resources, and we've mentioned cloud, which just means it's plugged in, and over the internet, we're getting computing capabilities. So an example of smart use of data, getting smart, is a local company called Exploris. They've worked with 12 healthcare systems, including our local ones, they got $14 million medical records, and they started analyzing it. And as you can see in the slide here, I won't read it, but in just 3 months, they were able to replicate what took over a decade previously at a fraction of the cost with a vastly increased quality level because of the sample size. So very exciting company. It's a Cleveland-based company, and again, it's one of the leaders in big data. And big data to the healthcare industry is about a value of about $300 billion a year. So back to this societal, non-trivial societal issue. So the vision is not just doing the applications from a bottom up, but how do we start looking at our community more broadly? How do we look at our key sectors here? How do we start instrumenting them with these systems, with this data, and moving them up to knowledge and wisdom, and being smart about how we deliver our social services, our health services, being more efficient, and then again, pushing the investment levels, the saved investment levels, the capacities, up to the innovation cycle. So really what we're trying to do is we start with really connecting them to a broadband network. In Northeast Ohio, we're lucky in that we've got thousands of public sector entities already plugged into the OneCommunity network, and you've seen that many folks here today are doing great things on top of it, great programming on top of it. We've got to foster collaboration. We've got to start coordinating systems, so we need to actually get different siloed organizations and departments. We need to move these applications from an individual level or a departmental level or an organizational level to actually looking at systems. 2 examples might be our knowledge system, which includes education, but is business at the table on our workforce discussions? Is that leadership there? Another example might be our innovation systems. Are all these guys thinking about how they can support innovation? So we're talking about the competitiveness of our region powered by this broadband, and the sky's the limit, but if we connect everybody, plug them all in, and start coordinating them, we can actually start driving productivity and increased innovation. So a quick example would be healthcare. The healthcare system, I'll spare you of going through the whole supply chain of healthcare. It's obviously got some bureaucracy to it. Just the payments alone, if you've been to a healthcare system recently, can be quite challenging. What's neat is if we can automate that, so we already lead in quality, what if we were to automate that, become more productive, and invest in innovation? So we're starting to certainly increase our focus on innovation, but let me give you a couple examples. You saw examples today of telemedicine. So what if we were to take telemedicine and make that our core? So what if we were to actually deliver these systems and take our great healthcare capacities and actually broadcast them over the internet globally? We actually could make healthcare services our biggest export. So lots of opportunities. We need to coordinate, build capacities, and again, focus on innovation. Another local example is HealthSpot. So this is telemedicine. It's local. It was actually designed just minutes from here. It's actually telemedicine. You can deploy it anywhere. You plug it into broadband, and actually doctors from anywhere can actually come in and deliver services. What's important about this is that you can actually get cost down, for example, versus an emergency room visit that handles many of the things this can handle with these instrumentations and these doctors. The costs fall from over $1,000 down to about $50. Very disruptive technology, and it's coming our way. And again, Cleveland's already starting to do it, but we can certainly increase our focus. So again, getting back to the societal thing, what we want to do is we want to actually focus the systems on common outcomes. We want to connect them, align them, focus on those outcomes, use data, use broadband, use these systems to actually drive these outcomes. So it sounds like a great concept, but these systems are certainly not going to self-organize. And again, we certainly need business at the table. So the roadmap, taking it from concept to actually beyond, so engage leadership. So the first step on actually making this smart region is actually engaging leadership. So we've certainly got the broadband, but we need more leaders engaged in thinking about their organization and how they can actually step out of the silos, break it down, take the data, move it to knowledge, and actually be more productive, and all focus on these outcomes, which is namely the knowledge workers and innovation. Shared vision and aligned planning, again, planning outside our silos, but we also don't have technology in most of our region's plans. That's really important. The tech sector is actually leading. We need to actually share the leadership and start getting everybody to think about how can technology inform our decisions and how do future technologies, how are they going to impact us favorably and unfavorably. Committed public-private partnerships. Again, the best example is we certainly need tech companies in the conversation, and we need business leaders. So again, workforce, we need to connect workers into these systems. We need to map them right into the businesses. It's going to turn project-based. It's got to flow. It's got to be great. And who has more to benefit than businesses from being more innovative as a region and better getting talent into their businesses? And then lastly, the infrastructure. OneCommunity's expanded dramatically. We now are in 25 counties. We go all the way from Toledo down to Columbus, out to Youngstown, and we've connected thousands of public sector entities, and now we're working with the private sector to start building stuff on top of it. So a great innovation opportunity, a great opportunity to be more productive, more innovative, and I think really the question is, can we take advantage of this opportunity? Will anybody come up and actually use this? And that's really why we're here today, building interest in this and capacity in this. So what we need to do is we actually need to go back to this chart and say engage leadership. So I'm hoping today to get some volunteers on how we can start working on this plan for a smart region. We certainly led back in the day in the Industrial Revolution. We have a unique opportunity now to lead in the knowledge revolution, the information revolution, and I hope you'll join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks.